The long-awaited Pokemon rival has hit GeForce Now. And since this is a paid game, we'll go over just how the game plays on the paid tiers of GeForce Now, the priority and ultimate tiers. Can GeForce Now handle the demand of this early access game? Well, keep your Palspheres handy because we're gonna catch them all, and we're gonna capture some of them. So let's start with the priority tier. First, Palworld can be played with mouse and keyboard and controller, so those on mobile can play. It's also nice that GeForce Now supports both Steam and Xbox versions of the game, so you can play with your Game Pass subscription. Now be aware that you cannot cross-play the Steam version with the Xbox version. We tried, we failed, even when the version number is the same. With the priority tier, you get a max resolution of 1080p with a max stream of 60 FPS. Is the priority tier suitable to play the game efficiently? Well, there are two configurations you'll get with the priority tier, the RTX 2080 and the 3060 configuration respectively. Hit Control N to get this network panel. Now I love to compare the performance stats of both configurations, but I was never able to get the 2080 configuration since it is completely random what configuration GeForce Now gives you. I've tried many times, so I only have footage on the 3060 configuration. Now the biggest hang-up of playing this game is the fact that it's still in early access. This is not an optimized game. This is also a CPU dominant game, especially when you have a ton of pals running around. The FPS is all over the place, and not just with the priority tier, but with the ultimate tier as well. Now on default, GeForce Now puts us on the low graphics preset, which has more medium settings and surprisingly DLSS disabled. I don't know why. Now lowering the graphics settings won't really help the FPS in high traffic areas. Again, this is a CPU thing, but overall I do actually recommend the priority tier. The game is still in early access, but this game doesn't need to look like it's cyberpunk. It's supposed to look cartoonish like Pokemon. And you don't need a 4080 to run this game and look decent. But since we're talking about it, how does the ultimate tier stack up with the game? Now the ultimate tier is designed to handle 4K gameplay at 120 FPS, 1080p gameplay at 240 FPS, and ultra widescreen monitors at 120 FPS. Does GeForce Now hit all these marks with Palworld? No. The problem is the 240 FPS feature. The game can't hit much higher than 120 FPS anyway. But if you want to play at 4K or with an ultra widescreen monitor, the ultimate tier will be the tier for you. Now the graphics settings were weird. They were different depending on your resolution, and this is understandable, but I got a custom medium with 4K, and it's about the same with ultra wide. Notice that DLSS is disabled. Now running the game at 1080p was different. Epic settings, but DLSS is enabled, and I found this odd. Now what about performance? Well, the FPS is about the same on any resolution. You can get as low as in the 50s once again, and you can get all the way into the 120s. And thanks to N7 Spectres for getting this footage. His channel link is in the description. It's not a graphics thing, it's a CPU thing, and just overall game optimization. Now generally speaking, I got around 70-ish FPS on average, but really, there was no real average. Now if you're looking for the full review of GeForce Now, our review is here. Anyway, if you ever feel like a boss, playing on the ultimate tier but seem like the system gave you a smack, don't go off and cry about it and never to be heard from again. Just know that these FPS dips are happening to everyone because the game is still in early access. So if you like this overview of Palworld on the priority and ultimate tiers of GeForce Now, give us a like. Also, make sure to join as a member of the channel or join our Patreon and our Discord in the links below. And above all else, make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place where you can catch them all, Cloud Gaming Battle.